warning you about heat dangers for several days, but there's one that you may not have thought of. With a rise in temperatures, we almost always see a rise in violence.
Hot weather brings out hot tempers, so how can you beat the heat and not sweat the small stuff? Anger management expert Teresa Hall is here with tools to help keep us cool. Teresa, welcome back to Live 9. Good to see you this morning.
You too. Thank
Good
you.
to have you.
When we typically think of temperatures like we've been having right here in the Mid-South for the past week or two, do we really see potentially an increase in violence as well as maybe even crime? What do you hear?
Absolutely, absolutely. People are easily agitated. They're more irritable. They're short-fused. Absolutely, there's an increase in anger when it comes to hot temperatures, and that's actually one of the time signs when it comes to managing anger.
What do you mean?
That time sign, that heat, the winter, cool temperatures, warm temperatures, different times of the seasons,
So
that
if
can
you-
induce anger.
And really, I have no idea. So if you expect it, does that help?
Right, you can plan for it. Not taking the bait, keeping your character intact.
Thinking about that in advance?
Right, absolutely. Limiting your time. Sometimes people are a little edgy, easily agitated again, and so making sure that you have enough time to actually cool off with the temperatures and with your anger.
But Teresa, it can be a chore for a lot of folks if you are working outdoors for whether it's just 10 minutes or an hour, if not even longer. You know, it's easy to kind of lose your cool. Not to say that, you know, you should, you know, legitimize somebody's anger, but
Right.
it's easy for it to happen.
Absolutely. You know, you can always come back and correct that mistake and say, hey, you know, I'm sorry, I kind of lost my cool, that sort of thing. You're teaching people two lessons. You're teaching them that no one's perfect, and you're teaching them that you can always come back and correct that mistake.
So I remember growing up, I was always told count to 10. Is that still a good rule? What are some things you can do to diffuse a situation?
You know, 10 isn't always long enough.
Maybe 100, maybe
Right.
count to 1,000,
You know,
you say?
Yeah, it's not always long enough, but you know, just making sure that you're not taking bait, you're not sweating the small stuff, that you know, you're actually thinking about your consequences or thinking about the consequences of your actions, and knowing that it's temporary, knowing that those hot temperatures aren't going to last very long, and so just making do, being able to adjust and to adapt in that situation.
Does this happen to all of us? I mean, is there an age difference? I mean, are kids more inclined for this to happen to them, or are we talking about older folks as well? Who does this happen to?
Generally, I found that if your birth month is during the summer months, you're more at ease with warmer temperatures, whereas if you're a winter baby like I am, you know, the hot temperatures are a little irritable, that sort of thing. So it really depends on that individual. There's not per se a certain age, that sort of thing.
And then the middle of this week, of course, we're going to likely be adding some adult beverage to the mix with the holiday. And holidays themselves, they get
Yes.
people together. Perhaps the heat's not going to be letting
Right.
up. So how can we diffuse those kinds of
Right,
situations?
knowing your limit. Heat and alcohol definitely doesn't mix, but knowing your limit, not overindulging in the alcoholic beverages, not, you know, staying outside and outdoors. Everyone's going to be barbecuing and family gatherings outdoors. So putting a limit on that, making sure that you come in and out for, you know, refreshments and to cool off, that sort of thing.
Especially if the barbecue just doesn't taste good. I mean, that could really make you angry.
That
Well,
could.
don't come to my house because you've had my cooking.
Yes, I have.
I'll put Bob in charge. That way you won't get mad at me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Teresa,
much.
Thank
glad to
you.
have you back.